Welcome to Winning Hand, the podcast about Marvel Champions, one card at a time. My name is Boomguy. Thank you for watching and listening. This is episode 84, and we are talking about a Wave 1 classic today. And I am joined by the one I am most often joined by, LazyTitan, the Red King himself.
Hey there, how's it going?
I'm so good. This is, of course, episode 84, as I said, of the People's Podcast. And the people want to know, LazyTitan, how are you?
Great. You know, I'm excellent.
You
Super,
are great.
even.
You are excellent. And you are super. It is now December. Iceman month is behind us. So last month I had the lights were Iceman blue. Now behind me, the lights, if you're watching this on YouTube, are red and green. It is Christmas. I'm wearing my Christmas shirt, my Melikilikimaka Hawaiian shirt. So if you're watching, you are getting just visual spice of such a high degree. You're welcome.
Such a high degree. Excellent visual storytelling.
Yeah, that's what I'm all about. I'm a storyteller. I'm a visionary. So
Visionary, really.
yeah, it's not my fault. It's just what I am. This is the People's Podcast. Speaking of the People's Podcast, let me say we have gotten a new 5-star review on Apple Podcasts and a rating. So I wanted to give that person a shout out and read it because it's been a while since I read one of these. So the latest one we got recently is titled Only One Card, ? And then gets 5 stars. And it says, "This is the best Marvel Champions podcast. Who would have thought that talking about a single card at a time would be so entertaining? I think there are currently 1,600 cards in the game, so I look forward to the next 1,500 plus episodes." That is from Brando Nitro. Thank you, Brando. I know that only took you 30 seconds, so thank you for taking the time to do that. I know you're a busy guy. You're obviously a very well-read guy. You clearly appreciate the finer things in life. You appreciate the finer things like the People's Podcast. But thank you for taking 30 seconds out of your incredibly busy day to leave that.
Of course. Thank you for doing that. And even though it only took you 30 seconds, we appreciate it all the more that you chose to spend your 30 seconds that way. But I will also say, who thought that only one card at a time would be so entertaining? We did.
This guy right here.
This guy right here. We thought that. That's why we made it.
We did.
You know, if anyone else has a great idea, either shoot it our way and we can, capitalize on it, or you could do it.
And I say we're on episode 84, but really there are 100 and, boy, I don't even know how many episodes at this point. 100 and some?
100 and a lot.
I'm trying to see if Apple Podcasts will tell me if I sort quickly. 111, it says. So this is the 112th episode, I believe, or 113th, whatever, by the time this is posted. But, I only count the mainline episodes, the one that have a whole number. If it has a 0.5 or a 0.2 or a 0.76, it's not counted in the mainline, canon.
Because it's not about one card at a time.
Yeah. It's a multiplayer,
pitch.
The All Hands on Deck series. It's a card reveal. It's an interview. It's something else.
Interview with somebody, We do a lot of stuff around here.
We're the People's Podcast. So
it's only one card, but it's not one note.
I like that. That's a good tagline. It's a good tagline. So today we are talking about, as I said at the top, a Wave 1 classic. One of my favorite cards. It's really one that has kind of established. Well, we're going to talk about what it's done. Let me say, we're going to do a couple things today. Some things are a little different, so I'm going to say at the top. We do not have a deck. So I've been making decks for each episode for the past, 20 episodes or something. We don't have that today. We have something slightly different. We are going to go through all, at the time of release, all hero defense events, and we're going to kind of put them in a tier list and talk about all of them. So, starting with Shield Block, it's obviously not the first one chronologically. It may or may not be the best one. I don't know. We'll see when we get to the tier list. But we have that at the end of the show rather than a deck. We're obviously going to talk about the card of the day in detail like we always do. And then we are going to talk about what we've been playing recently. That's the first thing we're going to start with. So let's start there. LazyTitan, do you want to go first or second with what we've been playing recently?
What we've been playing recently. Recently, I tried I tried a little idea I had. I randomly got the itch to delve into the dusty, decrepit, despondent corners,
The
of
dustbin of your
the
collection.
dustbin of the collection, and I pulled out everybody's second favorite Asgard hero, Valkyrie. And
Huh?
I know. So I had an
Scratch
idea.
sound.
Record scratch. I had the idea to build her in protection because she has, on theme for this episode, a pretty cool defense event, I
Me
thought.
likey.
I figured the plan was that she can, with just a armored vest, she can get to 4 defense against the villain with just her spear and her stuff. So the plan is to death glow the villain, and then you're just gonna defend constantly and try and pump your defense as high as you can, and then stop hitting yourself to leverage her 4+ defense stats to then go crazy and do the whole thing. It was fine. I would say version 1.1 of the deck had some flaws. It definitely needed taunt in there. I didn't put it in there because I didn't think she had the kind of greed to be able to get away with that. Turns out you kind of need it, or else sometimes you literally can't do anything. What kept happening is we were playing a harder scenario, and sometimes people would just flip down, and then I can't do anything. But contrary to like the classic kind of protection, like defend a lot build, it was just built for one big defense. Of just like, I'm going to defend one time and I'm going to stack all my cards on it. You're just going to dump your whole hand, and then you're going to stop hitting yourself for like 10 or 12. And so you're going to block a bunch of damage and then do that. And then her Shield Maiden lets you defend for people without exhausting. So that's another way you can defend in front of people. And then you can counterpunch because she also has 4 attack. That was kind of the idea. Leveraging her high base stats when attacking the deathglowed enemy. The problem that I ran into a lot was, 1, her cards are fine, and 2, she has the problem that every Valkyrie deck that does this has, is that you don't get to do anything with the deathglow. So you don't get to get overkill on your deathglow. You don't get to ready yourself ever. You don't get to thwart for 5 or trigger Valhalla to heal yourself and draw a card. You don't get any of it. So I have been toying around with going back to it and trying it out in more of a Change of Fortune style, where it's all much more about defending minions and killing them on the villain turn to trigger Flight of the Valkyrior and Valhalla, and obviously
Change of Fortune
to then draw a bunch of cards, and then you can ready yourself because they will die, which then you can actually interact with her kit, which I thought would be maybe more interesting. But as of now, I've only tried that first build, and it was mediocre at best.
Yeah, I think I watched it. It was a really cool idea. We theory crafted it together. Obviously, I don't take credit for it, but I was there. We were kind of talking about it. And it was a cool idea. There's like one big defense. I really do like Stop Hitting Yourself more, I think, as an idea than as an actual card. Stop Hitting Yourself is difficult to pull off. I think, shout out to my friend V Jackson, Brian on the Discord, who kind of popularized this Gambit Shy deck. Stop Hitting Yourself obviously is shortened to Shy as an acronym. So the Gambit Shy deck is legendary, and I watched Makana of Heroes do like 85 or whatever damage into a single one, which is obviously crazy. You spend the whole combo, the game getting ready, and you do 80 damage in Shy. That's cool. But it makes every other Shy hero feel like meh in comparison, I think, is the danger of that, like, one exceptional deck. I've tried to get Shy to work on a number of different heroes. My most recent one is Groot. I think Groot just has a natural solid 3 defense and can boost it with one of his upgrades that he puts in play.
5, right? Or 6?
Yeah, I can't remember if it's 5 or 6. But he gets a little boost. You can have things like I threw in, obviously, an Armored Vest, Classic, Defensive Conditioning, the new card. So that can get him like to 8, I think.
Groot loves Dauntless because he gets Retaliate built in because he
loves Dauntless.
Almost never loses health.
So then you have like with Dauntless and Electrostatic Armor and whatever else, right? You defend. You might even throw Riposte on there. So you're defending for 5 or 6. Then you Stop Hitting Yourself after that. You do another 8, whatever. It's pretty cool. It's just a tough one to like pull off consistently. I feel like you just don't draw Shy as often as you'd like. It's hard to, it's not a defense, so Jocasta can't get it to your hand. I don't know. It's a little unreliable, like to build a whole deck around it. But when it pops off, it's cool. So I've been trying with Groot. I haven't gotten it to quite work out yet. That could be because I was playing a 3-player game against Expert 2 Ronin, and we just all kind of got flattened.
That'll happen.
But
not a great time to
it.
test decks, I will be honest.
No, it was like I did it once, and then he attacked again, and I lost all my counters, and then he literally attacked again for like
And
9
killed
or
you.
10, and I died. Yeah, one turn. I was like,
Yeah,
oh,
that's
cool,
what
I did the
happens.
thing, and now I'm exhausted. And then he was like, oh, you pulled another one. He attacks again. I was like, okay, well, I lost all my counters. That sucks. And then he attacked again a third time, and I died.
That is the biggest problem I find with from my 1 or 2 tries with the Shy deck, is that you don't have the security of a deck designed to never take damage, because you're doing this kind of damage combo, but it requires a lot of cards from your hand often. That was kind of the problem I was having, is like, I'm playing a protection deck. I'm like, yeah, I'm all about defending. And people will be like, oh, okay, so you're going to defend for us. And I'm like, oh, I can. And then I spend like 4 to 7 resources on just boosting up my defense to 10 or whatever, so that I can Shy for 10. And then I get nothing.
You have to also defend and not take damage. So that's the first part of the card. Like you have to defend
Another part
and
of
not
that
take
that's
any
tricky
damage.
with Ronin.
So the great thing about Groot is you just are always going to hit that, because
Yeah,
the
you
counters,
can almost
right?
never
So
take damage.
even if he gets a double, triple boost or something, like you're just going to lose counters, but you still will take no damage. So I'm going to keep working it. I know, shout out Corbin TM. He has done a Groot Shy deck, and I'm out of respect for him and not trying to copy it, I'm trying to do my own thing. So I haven't dug into it too deep, because I'm trying to forge my own path. You know, you get it.
I think it would have more legs to stand on if it wasn't playing against Ronin Expert 2.
Yeah,
whole
but
nine.
that's just what we had. So I was like,
So
let's
we
try
had.
it.
That's the time. I played
It
mine
didn't work.
into the first scenario of MCDC. I played mine that was Spider-Woman. As
Spider-Woman.
a cooperative Spider-Woman. That was pretty tricky. She takes like -3 damage all the time and has all kinds of stuff. She was pretty nasty.
She's tricky.
She's very tricky. So that was not maybe a great time for that either. But it's what happens.
Okay, well, on the other end of things, I'll talk about what I've been playing recently. I have recently, so as we know, people who listen to the People's Podcast, people know that Boomguy doesn't read comics. That is a known fact at this point. We've established that as just part of my backstory. That's part of my lore.
For sure. It's
not
part of
gonna
the
change.
canon, really. It is.
It is. There was
that's
famously
one
a
of
few
the things
episodes
people
where
know.
Boomguy talked about not reading comics to hilarious comedic effect, I will say. Go back.
Excellent
and listen
timing.
to our Nightcrawler episode.
Really, really well done.
No, but I have started reading some more because they're fun, and I'm getting into the lore of this game that we love, and I don't know that much about it. So I'm reading. I have recently been struck by some older comics, and I've been reading back early Doctor Strange. I'm very taken by some of that Steve Ditko art from the late 60s, early 70s that is like very like just abstract and colorful, and he's in these weird alternate dimensions
Little
where gravity. Yeah, it's a little psychedelic. Yeah, gravity makes no sense, and just like everything is kind of weird. And as I've read through some of the books from then into the current books, I'm not reading them all chronologically. I'm kind of bouncing around, but the early stuff really caught me, and now I've been reading Doctor Strange. Really like set the stage of what Doctor Strange looks like visually in a comic, and that kind of psychedelic art style still comes through today. So I've been reading a bunch of Doctor Strange. I've been like wanting to play Doctor Strange for a few months, and I was a little hesitant because, everyone knows, quote unquote, in the community, he's overpowered, he's too strong, he trivializes the game. He for sure can. I have, people mess with fixes, can shuffle some cards into his encounter deck. I saw someone talk about after you play his invocation deck, you just remove them from the game. That seems crazy. I've seen other people say the easiest fix, and the one I think is the simplest fix for Doctor Strange is just to limit his invocations to once per turn, and that kind of solves a lot of the problems. But anyway, I've been playing Doctor Strange a lot in different aspects. I've been playing him with different player accounts.
No fixes.
Yeah, as intended. primarily solo. I've been playing, I push the difficulty sometimes. I'm playing some heroic, some expert. I'm just trying to play with him. He feels really thematic. The more I learn about Doctor Strange and read the character, like his whole thing feels very thematic. He's got these spells. He is kind of overpowered. Like every situation he rolls up to, he's kind of just like, I'm the Sorcerer Supreme. Back up. I do what I want. And he's dealing with like super high powered threats, right? Because he's not dealing with common criminals or whatever. But yeah,
He's a wizard.
so I've been playing a lot of Doctor Strange. I like Doctor Strange. He's fun. He feels thematic. He can trivialize the game. Part of it is the way I play. I do not spam the invocation deck. That is one strategy of Doctor Strange, right? The strategy, and usually if you're playing hyper efficient to play like the best play, is usually his invocation deck, whatever it is. So the best play, quote unquote, if you're going to play him the most min-maxy way, is to basically toss every card that you ever draw in favor of playing invocations, because they are not events. They can't be stopped by stun and confuse. They are very powerful and undercosted. And as long as you can ready enough, you should just play them.
Yeah. That is the best
I find myself
way to play
not
Strange,
doing
absolutely.
that. Because not even because it's like overpowered, but just because in playing a game, I've built a deck and I want to do things with that deck that aren't just like spam it. So like every ally you draw, every event you draw, everything you draw, just like tossed in favor of invocations is probably the best way to play him. But it's not necessarily the most fun. So I just kind of self-regulate and play him like, when I draw a magic attack, I might just play magic attack. Or I might play his attack event, whatever it's called, the 3 for 5, and you discard a card
Magic
to
attack.
deal. Is it magic? That's the red one. The aggression is called magic attack. Magic blast.
His
maybe?
might be Magic Blast. Yeah, it's probably Blast.
He's got like good. He just has good cards. Like he
has
a
very
good
good cards.
kit.
That's
he
the thing
has
with
a treachery
Strange is
cancel.
His
he has
15
an attack
cards
and
are
a thwart.
also incredibly good.
He has magical enhancements as an upgrade that gives
Is
a
a bit of a
hero
dud.
+1 stats. That's kind of a dud. And he has 2 copies of it. The treachery cancel,
But he has
often don't
the
find myself using.
Best treachery cancel in the game. He's got a great thwart event. He's got a great attack event. He's got Wong, who's a great ally. He's got a free ready. He's got a free resource. He's got aerial built in. Like, he's got a bunch of good stuff. He's also
His
got another
Sanctum
way
is kind of meh.
Yeah, he's got one of the only
He's really
tutors
no
in the
reason
game.
to go alter ego.
You
What's
can
that?
search. He's got one of the only tutors in the game. You can search through your deck to find one of your strange cards. Or is it just any card?
It's a strange card.
But you can find your upgrades. You can find your cape. You can find your eye.
Yeah, it costs 1 and it's an alter ego. So you flip down and spend 2 effective resources to go find a card. It's kind of expensive.
If you start with it in hand, it's not a bad one.
Yeah. So yeah, I've been playing Doctor Strange, and so I'd play 1 invocation a turn. Sometimes I play 2. But I'm not just like using Wong and using everything I can to just like burn it and get exactly the one I want all the time. There's times when I like Wong's exhausted or I haven't played Wong yet, and I have one on the top that's like the one that changes, like the most interesting one that like changes a status card, And that one is, I think, the most interesting of his invocations. Like, that takes a stun and turns it to a tough word. But sometimes there just isn't a status card out there. So like I just can't play that card.
Especially
and
Strange
if Wong's
doesn't
not out.
Apply a ton of statuses that aren't toughs. He doesn't.
Or
I guess he does stun people, but like turning a stun into a confuse is like something you really want to get stunned for that.
Yeah,
is where you want that. Where you want them to be tough.
I don't know if cards ever come out that like stun you to do an effect. Like that would obviously make that really powerful because then you could just turn it into tough. But yeah, so I have been enjoying him. He is strong. Like there's no doubt about it. He's a really strong hero, but also he's the Sorcerer Supreme, and like he's supposed to be kind of powerful, So I think it's difficult for a game like this, right, to create these heroes that feel different mechanically and feel different thematically, right? Where some should just feel stronger than others, but that's difficult because if someone's favorite hero is Hawkeye, who is just a dude with a bow and arrow, no armor, no powers, no anything, and someone else plays Thor, you have to get those heroes like close enough that Thor doesn't trivialize the game because he's a god, and Hawkeye's like not impossible to win because he's just a dude with a bow and arrow. So
but you also have to live up to the power fantasy of being the greatest wizard in the universe.
Exactly.
So it's hard to be the greatest wizard in the universe and also be on the same par as like Spider-Man or Hawkeye, or if we ever got like Daredevil or Luke Cage, or like
Right.
those are just kind of dudes. Some of them have superpowers, but like they're basically just dudes.
Yeah, Daredevil's just a dude.
He's
like-
I mean he's blind and he's got super seeing, but he's basically like in terms of his ability to
But he's
knock
a
out
guy.
villains, he's just
Yeah.
a guy.
Yeah, he just get knocked out by anybody else. Like, so, and I think it's difficult, right? Because sometimes I look at Hawkeye and I'm like, yeah, he has 9 hit points and 1 defense. Yeah, he's just a
That
dude
adds
who
up to
picks
me.
a bad weapon.
Objectively worse weapon.
Yeah,
Because
and
he
no
likes
armor. Like, he would just be better if he grabbed a gun. I don't know.
He'd be
Like-
better if he grabbed a gun and like some Kevlar. Like he's just
Yeah.
a
So-
dude.
Anyway, I think it's difficult for designers to differentiate the power levels, but still make each of them fun and competitive with all the scenarios. Like, because a lot of things are trying to balance. So, Strange, I do think maybe is a little overcooked. Like, they probably should have
I would say
turned
Strange is
down
very
the dial.
overcooked.
I don't know. He's a sorcerer supreme. Like, he's magic. He has
I know, but
wizard
that's
powers.
not how the game scaling works. The Hulk is
I
also
know.
in there. He's the strongest being in the universe, and he's garbage.
Well, he's not. I know that. So I think obviously Hulk is undercooked. I think Doctor Strange is a little overcooked. I think if they just dialed his invocation back just a little bit, or literally just limited it to 1 per turn. Like,
I
if
think
you can only
limited
play
to 1
one
per
spell
turn.
per turn,
Is kind of a pretty instant fix.
then that kind of fixes it because
Yeah, that solves
okay, you
it.
played your dope attack invocation, but now you gotta do something else.
Yep.
So
I also, or I think if you changed all the invocations to be more like the one that changes statuses. So they're not like just the most efficient and best events in the game. They're
Mm.
just kind of like cool, weird effects that do something useful. Very useful, very cool, but not like Winds of Watum, which is just objectively the best play at any given time. Literally, no
or-
matter what.
if it was just like there was something like Deadpool's katanas, right? You like take a damage and exhaust to use an invocation. There's like a cost over time to playing
Some
invocation.
way to limit it.
Because like you eventually have to flip down and recover because you can't play all these invocations. I don't know. Anyway, that's a long way to say I've been playing a lot of Doctor Strange and I've been enjoying it, and I'm not ashamed to say it. He's fun, and the more I learn about the character, the more I get into it. So yeah, I mean, I've been playing some solo with him in Heroic. I don't know, man. Then maybe I'll ask you, LazyTitan. Like, there's a thing. I brought him to the Con of Heroes. I played him one time. I just feel like self-conscious pulling Doctor Strange out. Even when my local meetups, I'm like, if I pull Doctor Strange out, right? First of all, everyone at the table is going to kind of roll their eyes because it's like a guy brought Doctor Strange. Then it's like, if I don't crush the scenario with Doctor Strange, then everyone's going to be like, bro, come on, you brought Doctor Strange and like you lost, or you know what I mean?
Yeah, I think it's definitely part of it, but also like it also sucks to then just have to explain yourself every time and be like, no, guys, I promise I'm not
Yeah.
gonna just cast spells. Because he does just kind of have that reputation. It's the same way like every time someone brings Hulk, you get a little bit of a side eye like, we're
Gonna have to carry this guy all game.
we're gonna have to
Okay,
carry this guy
great.
the whole game. Or
Yeah.
it's like I don't know.
Or PvP.
Because it is
like I
or
can't bring Doctor Strange at
PvP
right?
feels bad to bring Doctor Strange because you're just like 1v1 or 2v2, you're just kind of like, yeah,
Like really?
like we all have
I
the
roll.
whole card pool, but I did bring the best one objectively.
Yeah.
And like if I'm playing PvP and I'm trying to win, then like yes, I will be casting a lot of spells because that is the good way to do it.
So I don't know. I feel like there's some unspoken community rules, right? Where like if I bring Doctor Strange to a meetup, I do feel a little self-conscious about it. And like A, I have to do really well, or people think I'm terrible and don't know what I'm doing, or B, I abuse Doctor Strange and am amazing and everyone rolls their eyes because come on, dude, you brought Doctor Strange and made it not fun for everyone. So like
Yeah.
how do you play? And I'm interested in listeners too. Like, leave a comment or send me an email. I'm really curious what your experiences are with these. There's a few of those heroes at the top, right? Like Ham and Strange are the ones people always talk about. How do you bring them to a meetup and have people be okay with it? How do you feel, LazyTitan, when someone pulls out Doctor Strange at a table?
I think I have to say I don't think I've ever seen someone play Doctor Strange. Literally ever. Aside from when I've played with you. I've seen you play Strange. I've played Strange myself a couple times. I've thought about bringing him to multiple cons because he is cool and he does feel cool to be a wizard. Being a wizard is dope
Agreed.
and
Yeah.
casting spells is cool. I think it's kind of like the social contract thing of like you could build a troll deck and I could just grief you the whole time, but like I'm not going to do that. And I feel like Strange has kind of become one of those ones on that list, and Hulk too in a way of just like, I'm not going to play Hulk. I'm not going to play Strange. I'm not going to play Spider-Ham. I'm not going to play Valkyrie. Some people try Valkyrie, but she's not quite to the same degree.
And Hawkeye,
Hawkeye is on there.
Pull
I
him
think
out of the meetup,
Hawkeye
and I'm like,
is in
come
a
on, man.
different.
Really?
I think Hawkeye's in a little bit of a different tier, though. I think he's just bad, whereas like Hulk, you're throwing. Like if you are playing Hulk, you are not playing to win. Like for real, you're playing to try out Hulk and play the game. Nobody plays Hulk and is like, yeah, this is the best way to win this game. Like that's just objectively not true. So if you want to play it, you just want to do it for fun, which is, that's chill.
Yeah.
That puts him in a little bit of a different zone than Strange, where like if you're playing Strange, it is just the best way to play the game. Like power wise.
Yeah.
If you were going like pure power.
How do you navigate that at a meetup or at a con?
Other than like explaining yourself every time, you kind of just have to roll with it and just like hope people are chill, kind of. I'm just like,
that's too bad. I'm going to start bringing him more often because I like the character. I think he's cool and I'm going to bring it. And I don't build like crazy optimized min-max Doctor Strange decks. I try to build thematic ones. Like I usually like to play him in protection. I think that's where he's the most fun. And I try to bring allies that are like thematic, either the defenders like Luke Cage, Iron Fist, or like Clea and Brother Voodoo, like mystics. I try to make it thematic as much as I can. It'd be great to have more defender like allies. So you could build like Doctor Strange with the defenders. And I don't know. I think it'd be cool. So I'd be curious to hear what other people think. Like leave a comment and let me know. Do you play Doctor Strange and how do you feel? Do you feel like you have to explain yourself every time you do it? Same with Hulk and Valkyrie and some of these, the top and bottom tiers. I'm curious to hear that. So but I will keep playing Doctor Strange, and I'm going to be the change that I want to see. So I will start playing him at meetups, and people can at me. It's fine. All right. I'm ready to talk about the card of the day. How you feeling, LT?
I have never been more ready to talk about the card of today.
Never been more
ready to talk about the card of
then
today.
Let's start right now. I'm going to share the card of the day, which is, of course, Shield Block. Shield Block came. Do you know what pack this came in?
Yes, I do. That would be the Captain America pack.
I'm sorry. We were looking for the Captain America pack, actually. So
I really thought I had that one.
Captain America. I know. You were close.
Almost there.
Would you mind reading the card for us, LazyTitan? And then we'll jump right into it.
It's a pretty simple line of text in terms of what this card does.
Yeah.
It says it's a zero-cost event called Shield Block, obviously. And it says interrupt defense when you would take any amount of damage. Exhaust Captain America's shield. Prevent all that damage.
Pretty straightforward. It is a mental resource if you choose to spend it that way.
When you would take damage, don't.
He has 2 copies. It's defense traded. Yeah, so
when the flavor text is that all you've got? Captain America.
Love that flavor text. I think there's a couple of really interesting things here, right? First of all, it is wave 1. So this is right after the core set. We're getting our first taste of non-core defense events. This feels cool, and we're going to talk about theme in a minute, but I think it's interesting to point out that this is not a hero interrupt. This is just an interrupt. So if you were an alter ego and take some indirect damage for whatever reason, or Juggernaut attacks you, you can still feel free to play Shield Block. And it's not from an attack, it's just any amount of damage. Anything
I don't think I've ever thought of that or seen someone do it, but you could do it. It doesn't come
if Ebony Maw and his spell goes off and hits you for 4 damage.
Ooh, if he just fireballs you.
You just nope.
Again, we're talking about wizards. Big problem.
Juggernaut attacks an alter ego. You just nope.
You just don't.
So Deadpool wishes he had this card.
Yeah. Well,
so that's important.
Things.
It's also important to note that, again, as I said, it's not from an attack. It's just any source of damage, which is cool. And then you do have to exhaust Captain America's shield. So if you draw 2 of them in your hand, like you can't multiple defend on it, which does kind of suck. I don't really get why you have to exhaust the shield.
Because you're
literally
using
nothing
the shield
else
to
exhausts
block
it. Yeah, but like it doesn't get like tired.
Yeah, but he has to put his arm up and block with it. He's using it.
But when he like shield bashes people with his like big attack event, he doesn't exhaust it. I don't know. It's the only thing that exhausts the shield. It feels weird. So let's talk about the art, though. This is the first thing we talk about. I'm going to describe this because I love this art on this card.
Giving it away early.
It
Okay.
is. What's that?
Giving your ratings away early.
Oh yeah. So I want to. Usually I let other people describe it, but I want to describe it because it is like most of the frame is Captain America's shield, right? And then in the top right corner, as you're looking at it, you see just his eyes poking over, like he's behind the shield blocking something. On the front of the shield, you can see like that looks like bullets, bouncing off. There's like
Impacts
sparks
of some kind.
Yeah, and like it's kind of lighting up his eye that's closest to us with that like bullets or fire or whatever. And so like all you can see is him kind of like scowling and hiding behind the shield. And I love it. It is like, the classic red and white shield. It's this blue uniform. It fits really well with the color theme of the graphic design overall.
Which is, of course, red, white, and blue.
I love this art. What do you think?
I also think this art's great. I think it is not only awesome, but also it's exactly what it says. It's a shield block. It's Captain America blocking with a shield. That's what you want to see. That's what you're getting. That's what you paid for. I feel like that's kind of all you got to say about it.
You're getting all your money's worth here. It's a shield block, right? And
it's a shield block. Captain's clearly blocking something with a shield. He's looking at you like that's your best shot. Is that all you've got? And then he takes no damage.
Yeah. And so thematically, right? Let's just move right into theme. Does this do like a whole thematic thing for you with the name and the whatever everything it does, all the pieces together?
I think so. Like I said earlier, it exhausts the shield because it's using the shield to block. Exhausting usually means that you're using something. You're using the shield to block damage, so you exhaust the shield and take no damage. Kind of ticks all the boxes for me.
Too easy.
It's cool. It looks cool. Also, the red, white, and blue and like bright frame of the picture ties in well with the red, white, and blue of his card art, of his border colors. It's really solid. It just kind of all ties together. It's what a Captain America player would want out of Captain America.
Yeah. I'll be totally honest. I'm a little surprised. Looking back from where we are in 2025, late 2025, looking back, I'm a little surprised Captain America was not in the core set. Captain America is...
especially at the time, was like the iconic face of Marvel.
Yeah, it was like, Endgame was right around this time. Like, MCU was huge. Chris Evans and Cap was huge. They did put some really big names in the core set. In particular, Spider-Man was is one of the biggest characters Marvel has. They put some, Black Panther was getting big with the movies.
He had just gotten a movie recently.
They had Iron Man, who was huge in the MCU, obviously.
Yep.
She-Hulk is kind of a surprise.
She-Hulk was a little bit of...
And then Captain Marvel was like, mid of the...
she had a movie. She was in the movies, but she wasn't super big.
I was just surprised that I guess Spider-Man was the one who was really selling the set, and that makes sense. He's bigger than Captain America, but...
And then they just immediately followed it up with Thor and Cap, which are two of the big ones.
Yeah, Ms. Marvel, Cap, Thor, Strange, Hulk. They had a huge names.
Yeah, Hulk honestly could have been in there too.
Oh, yeah. Hulk sells the core set. And I think if I was making a core set, I would just honestly probably put 5 huge characters in it. So if you're asking, Boom Guy, there's rumors of a new core set coming because of Arkham. We're not going to get into too much speculation, but if you were going to say, hey, Boom Guy, what would you put in a core set? I think Captain America would be in there. I would go all heavy hitters, though. I would just go all heavy full
Hulk, Cap, Wolverine.
Yeah.
Would you do Spider-Man again?
I don't know. Sure. Okay. I would probably want to balance it. Okay. We're going to have a slight tangent here. Boom Guy loves tangents.
We are going to get into some speculation, actually.
Yeah. Not speculation. Just what I would do. I'm not going to guess at what FFG is going to do. I have no idea what FFG wants to do. But if you're going to ask me, Boom Guy, who would you put in the core set? I think I would make sure we have different representation. So I would say, let's set the stage. If you're going to do a chapter 2, kind of like Arkham's doing, let's set the stage for a new way to reimagine the game or whatever, to relaunch somehow softly. I would say let's get different teams in there. Like I want a Guardian, I want an Avenger, I want an X-Men, and maybe a Web Warrior, right? I want to get like the big
A
ones.
champion or a Fantastic Four.
Maybe a Fantastic Four. I mean, because Boomguy loves a Fantastic Four. I'd probably
Ooh, I
put
love
one.
the Fantastic Four.
I wouldn't do all the Fantastic Four, but I would put like, what if you had, just off the top of my head, Wolverine as the X-Men, Captain America, Spider-Man, Mr. Fantastic, and Star-Lord. I mean, that's
That's
you've
some heavy
got
hitters.
huge names. You've got fun characters. I mean, I'm assuming they would reimagine them, so I don't know what they'd be like. But you've got
very-
teams, right?
Very different, and you're representing the different teams. And then
So whoever you like.
you can start early with getting that differentiation of the traits. One of
Yes.
the things that we talk about in this a lot is like the Asgard trait we use as an example all the time. But Asgard is one of the best traits in the game. It's super well defined. It does exactly what you think it does. And that's an easy way to set that up right away. Wolverine,
Yeah.
X-Men do this. Avengers do this. Guardians do this. And just like set that up. Have them all come with their own cards. I think that's a solid plan. Only, not issue, but I think only caveat I would have to that is they usually try to do even releases of men and women.
That's true.
So
that's a good point.
That's 4 dudes you named, which means
That's a good point.
not only are we not doing that, but it's also unlikely because that's usually how they do it. So
Yeah.
we're probably going to get easy switch Star-Lord for Gamora,
Yeah, you could put
or you could
Sue
cut
Storm instead of
put
Reed.
Sue Storm instead of Reed, or you can cut Wolverine for Storm.
I mean, I just think if you're from a business standpoint, right, you have to sell the core set before you can get anyone to buy anything else.
Especially at this
They
point.
have to
If
buy the core set.
we're talking a second core set.
But I mean, even the first core set, you literally cannot play this game unless you bought the core set, right?
Yes.
You have to sell the core set to people. And once they buy the core set, then they're open to all this other stuff. So it's like, it's like you are selling Xbox games. Well, they have to buy an Xbox first.
So you got to get
If
them
they
in the
don't
door.
buy an Xbox, then this is pointless. So you got to get them in the door. And I think you get them in the door with the biggest names. I think you're right. You split the genders, and they have been traditionally really good at that. So I didn't think, I was just kind of off the top of my head, but I would go big names. I mean, and I think, put a Fantastic Four in there. Maybe you put a champion in there. You put
Maybe a
Ironheart or
defender.
something.
Throw Daredevil in there.
Or one of the Jessica Jones or
Jessica
Elektra.
Jones.
But they're not
Yeah.
bigger names.
I feel
don't
like
know.
Daredevil is the one you have to pull. You'd have to split it up somehow, but maybe you get like
Yeah, Daredevil.
I'm trying to think. Maybe you
That's a
get
good one.
I feel like Storm's a pretty easy one. X-Men, they've got plenty of characters that are popular.
I would put in the ones like when people think of these teams, like who do they think of? Like
The
Avengers,
iconic starter.
Captain America, Iron Man. Who do they think of?
I think X-Men,
X-Men,
probably Wolverine.
Cyclops, Wolverine. Like,
Cyclops, yep. that
I
one.
would just go the big names so that people are like, sweet, I want to play. I've never heard of this game. I'm like Captain America and Wolverine. That sounds dope. And then you
That's
sell them
cool.
hero packs later, right? If they're already in the game, then they'll buy a Nebula hero pack, Rip Nebula, or whatever. But like,
So
anyway.
secondary heroes is where you get all you get the recurring players. They're already in.
Yeah,
They're coming
already
back
in.
for more.
Okay. That was a little bit of a tangent. Listeners, there have been rumors of a second core set. Is there going to be one? Yay or nay? And who do you want to see? Leave a comment. Send me an email, winninghandpodcast@gmail.com. All right. Enough about that. We talked about art and theme. Let's talk about the power of Shield Block. How good is this card?
I think this card, we talked about this briefly off mic, but I think the power of this card is both quite good and also technically below the bar.
Go on.
Core set Spider-Man, we introduced immediately. We decided that 0 cost for taking no damage is kind of the baseline. Spider-Man set the baseline for a lot of stuff. Swinging Web Kick obviously set the baseline for damage that we still use today. And I think Backflip is kind of the best example of a defense event. I think the rest of them don't really have much of a defense event, actually. Iron Man doesn't have one. She-Hulk doesn't
have one.
T'Challa doesn't have one. I don't think Captain Marvel has her little thing that you can block 3 damage with, but
Yeah.
Not an
basically
event.
Magic Shield, right?
so
Just pitch
of
it.
the
Yeah.
events in the core set, it is just Backflip.
Yep.
So the baseline has been decided to be 0 cost, no damage, which is really good. in terms of how the game is actually played. That's quite powerful. But in
Yeah.
terms of being on par with the rest of the game, this is technically below average because it does
Not
have
below
a
average.
cost, or below the bar. It does have a cost, which is that you have to exhaust the shield. It's not really a cost, and it really only comes up in the one or few times you need to play 2 in one phase, which is almost
Yeah.
never.
It essentially doesn't matter.
But it is technically worse than backflip, although it's effectively the same card.
But again, backflip is from an attack. This is
True.
any source of damage,
This is
and
any
doesn't have
source
to
of
be played in
damage.
hero. So you could, and we are going to debate because we're going to go through every single hero's defense event
And
in a few
spoilers,
minutes. So I don't want to
backflip
get
and
into too
shield block
many.
are on that list.
I don't want to get into too many comparisons with direct cards at the moment.
But I think
But
in terms of what this
For
card does,
itself,
I think it's good. I mean,
This is
taking
a
no
great
damage
card.
is a powerful effect.
yeah,
0 cost is exactly what you want, especially in defending, because you don't want to spend your hand for the next turn. And if it is you are playing a protection deck that is revolving around defense, triggering that defense trait for 0 cost and not exhausting yourself is huge.
so good. Yeah, you don't have to exhaust. That's a key part of this, right? Like you don't
Very
have to
big.
be defending. This is the defense. It takes no damage. It's
So
defense
you just
traded,
get
so it
to
hits
save your
full, like,
defense
water
for
and
somebody
stuff.
else if you're playing cap,
Yes.
usually.
Yes. This is so good. So shield block, very strong, I would say. There's not too much more to say about it. It's just really strong.
It's just pretty good.
Obviously, you have to have the shield in play. That is another cost.
But
We kind of
you
assume that.
Start with the shield, so.
Well, you start with it in your hand, and you could lose it, right? There are
You
things
could.
that make you discard upgrades. I have played games with Captain America where you get the shield out on turn 1, and then you draw under fire, whatever the card is, and you have to discard the shield. Unfortunately, and almost inexplicably, he has no way to get the shield back. For a shield which canonically does defy gravity and like
comes
physics
back all
and
the time.
return to your hand all the time, it just doesn't come back, which is weird. So it can, there are times you can lose it, or like you return to your hand with shield toss and then something makes you discard a random card and you lose it.
Yeah, but it doesn't happen often, though.
Doesn't happen often, but it's devastating because you can't get it
Yes.
back. There's no way to tutor it.
You just
It's
got
a
to set up
setup
action
action.
again.
Yeah, I hope you find it. So I've had that happen before, and that sucks. Like losing that third defense, losing that retaliate, losing access to shield block and shield toss. Like you lose access to a lot of his cards.
Feels
It's
like
actually
it
really
could
devastating.
definitely just be an action of his, but I think
Yes.
at that point in the game, they designed that before the game even came out. So I feel like at
Correct.
that point in the game, they maybe hadn't experimented with that or hadn't thought of it.
Yeah, I think nowadays he would for sure just spend a resource, go get your
Because
shield or
Hawkeye's
whatever.
that way too.
Hawkeye,
No, Hawkeye
just
isn't,
go
but you have to
get
spend
it.
a resource, which feels also weird.
And Nova's helmet, like there's a bunch of those. You just can go find it if you lose it.
Mm-hmm.
His is really the only one, because I think even Thor can go get Mjolnir, right?
Yes,
he can
Thor
get
can
it
go get
back,
Mjolnir,
I
but
wanna say.
Star-Lord cannot.
His guns,
His guns don't come back.
no, which is I'm fine with that.
But he does require, you can't play sliding shot without
That's
his
true.
guns. So
Can't
he
play
does have
sliding
a
At least
limiting
one.
factor. It's a lot less than the shield.
Yeah.
But there is a factor there.
Okay, so let's talk about the fun before we transition into final thoughts. How fun is shield block?
I think shield block is great. It's one of the most fun things in the game.
You're right.
We're going to talk about this, I'm sure, later, but just playing a card and taking no damage rules. It's awesome.
This is like the Bugs Bunny no meme in a card form, right?
It's awesome.
He's just like, nope,
Yeah,
not gonna happen.
It's one of the most fun kinds of cards to play, which is just, I'm actually not going to take damage. I'm not going to worry about it. I'm not going to, as soon as you draw it in your hand, you're just like, cool. It literally does not matter what the villain draws. I'm not taking damage.
Ronan can swing as hard as he wants to. I literally don't care.
Like, you oftentimes get a little overzealous and slap this thing down before the boost card's even pulled, because it doesn't matter. You don't care.
But that is another great thing to say. It's not like when you're attacked. It's just when you would take damage. So you can wait and see.
You can wait to see the attack, and if it's like claw, and you're like, okay, he pulls 2 zeros. Okay.
Then just
Just
don't.
spend it
Yeah,
on
or
my
someone
turn.
attacks for 1 with a boost.
Yeah,
you're like,
this
well,
will be
I'll
my
just
free ready
see what
now.
happens.
Okay, cool.
And then someone attacks and it's like 1, flip the boost, it's 1. It's like only 2 damage. I'll just take that.
Yeah,
Save
takes
shield
you
block
damage.
as a resource.
Or then sometimes you get Ronan, and
Love
it's
that you can
like,
save it.
he swings for just 2, and then he attacks you the second time for 12, and you're like, okay, now I'll spend my shield block. Great.
0.
0. Actually, not going to do that.
Yeah. This card is super fun. I agree. I love that you can see what's going to happen and then slap it down afterwards. That's really fun. You don't have to like guess, because that can feel bad sometimes when you're like, we'll talk about some of these other ones later, but where you like commit to playing it and then it's like, oh, really? Only 1 damage?
Yeah,
Like,
it happens.
Vision's mass increase, for example, spoiler, like you have to defend, so you defend and then you play the card. And it's like they attack for 1 plus 0 boost, and you're like, really 1 damage? Okay, ouch.
There's also
I wish I wasn't
some
exhausted.
cards that require you to defend. This one does not. You can just do your
Correct.
You can exhaust, use your basic defense, and then do it or not do it. Some cards are just kind of boost your basic defense. But in terms of defense cards, this is not the gold standard, but up there. It's great. It's fun.
Well, I think you, sir, are ready for a final rating then. Why don't you go ahead and start? Give us a rating 0 to 10 and give me some final thoughts on Shield Block.
I think I'd give this 9 out of 10. It's cool. It's fun. It does what I want it to do. Like we talked about earlier, fitting into that kind of power fantasy, it fits what I want Captain America to be able to do. If anyone was going to have this card, I would want it to be Captain America. If this was a unique effect, it should be Cap, because of any hero, his whole thing is defending. That's his whole gimmick. Is he's got a cool shield and he uses it to attack people sometimes, but mostly he puts it in front of himself and other people, and then they don't die. And I feel like that's what this card gets you.
You know, I was going to say my initial thought was 10 out of 10, no notes. But I'm going to say 9.5 out of 10. The only thing I wish that you could do with it was like when a character would take any amount of damage, exhaust the shield and prevent all of it. Or like when you would take damage, exhaust it. Or if it's another character, return it to your hand or something to like show that you like throw it to cover them or something. I just wish you could work in his like protecting the team thing into this card somehow to like prevent other people from taking damage. I think that'd be really cool.
I think you kind of get that with his basic defense.
Yeah.
Just because you
can
basic defend
other
for somebody else, kind of stand in front of them, and then get up because you can do it all day. But then
can't do it all day.
For yourself, you're like, okay, well, I've done all my stuff. I've defended this villain. Just gonna put the shield up. Keep it simple. Donezo.
You can do it all day, except only once per round, actually.
You can do it all day, except for the second time you try and do it.
Yeah, only once per round, but all day. Yeah, this is just
Once
a great
per phase,
card.
I
Honestly,
think.
this is like a 10 out of 10. I love Shield Block. It's so comforting, like you said, to draw it into your hand and just know that whatever happens, like your defense is covered.
It's the
I
same
don't
as
have to
backflip.
exhaust to
It's
defend.
just great. It's just,
You
I'm
don't
going to
have
do
to
it.
think about it like, oh, am I going to exhaust? Or like, do I need my basic activation next time? It's like, nah, just whatever. Bring it however much
And
it's got.
also,
then you can decide.
It has the super fun thing of it does technically cost to exhaust the shield, but that's not actually anything because you don't need it for anything else. So you just get to be like, oh, cool. Whereas I feel like if he was a newer hero, he would exhaust all the time for the shield. He would use the shield for all kinds of things, and this would be another way to like tax that. Kind of like ammo counters, where it's like another way to tax.
You could have to really think about it.
Doing
do I want
stuff,
to exhaust the
but
shield?
So that line of text just means you can't play this 2 times.
Yeah,
and so
I don't
that's
even
all you
usually
need out of that.
exhaust the card, to be honest, on the table.
Because
I don't really.
doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter.
It's a fake line of text.
It is. But yeah, so I think we are very positive on this. But this is just a really good card. So now we are going to transition over and I will share a new screen.
We're about to
and
get crazy.
we will rank, tier list every single defense event, identity-specific defense event that has been released to date. So I have them in alphabetical order here. All right, here I'm going to share this tier listing. This is a totally new thing, winning handers. You guys know we don't usually do this. So curious to hear your feedback and what you guys think about this. All right, LT, so I'm just going to explain it to you and everyone else. So here's what's going to happen. I have all of the defense events loaded in here at the bottom. I am going to, one by one, we'll talk about each card. I will quickly kind of read what it does, what hero it's from, and then we'll kind of quickly debate. I don't want to take too long. There are 21 of these, so if we take just like 2 minutes, this is going to double the length of the podcast. So it's going to be pretty short. I don't want to make this too long. So we'll just give some quick thoughts and then kind of an idea of where we think it lands on this S to D tier. And then we can kind of, at the end, we'll see how it all fits and adjust. Cool?
Sounds good to me.
All right. First one that we have is actually not in the correct. I thought these were in alphabetical order. They are not completely in alphabetical order. I will do my best. The first one is Aerial Agility. This is a defense event from Angel. It is aerial and defense traded, 1 cost. Hero Interrupt. When an enemy attacks, if you are Angel, ignore each boost icon and each boost ability for this attack. Or Archangel, give your hero a tough card and gain Retaliate 1 for this attack. This obviously plays into Angel's whole aerial event thing. Where do you think this one lands? Where would you put it? Gut reaction.
I feel like we talked about earlier, defense cards are kind of stacked. Like they're often
some from are
better
really
than a lot of like attack and defensive or attack and thwart events. In terms, I would put this in. I feel like I would put this in A tier. It does what you want it to.
Your gut is A?
My gut is A, because in Archangel, you have higher defense, so you just get a tough card and some retaliate. And in Angel, you have 2 defense, which is usually good enough, and then you just get to ignore all the nasty effects that you don't want to deal with. That seems pretty good.
Doesn't he also get a benefit? Like, doesn't he already if he plays?
He draws a card if he plays an aerial event. And Archangel would then do damage. So Archangel will do 1 damage to something, and then have retaliate 1. So he'll do 2 damage to the villain, maybe, and then do that.
So
and then
Angel will
draw a
ignore
card. So it's
the
effectively
boost
0
icons
cost.
and draw a card.
And he has 2 defense built in.
That's really good. I think my gut would be to put it like here to start with and kind of see where we filter out. This feels like a mid-tier defense event. Some of the ones that are coming up are really, really good.
But some of the ones that are coming up, I think, are also not that good.
And ideally, this should be kind of a bell curve, right? Like, ideally, we should have the most in the B.
Okay.
It should be a bell curve,
I think in terms of defense events, though, this is an excellent one.
Okay,
it does.
Let's start it here, and we'll see how it filters out.
We can adjust it later. We reserve the right to change our mind.
Yeah, we're gonna kind of place them with our gut, and then I think as more of them come on here, it'll be easier to kind of place them in relation to other ones. So we'll start it here. We can always move it up or down later. All right, the next one we have is Arm Block. This is a Winter Soldier attack and defense traded event, 1 cost. Hero Interrupt, attack defense. When an enemy attacks, deal 3 damage to it. If you exhausted Cybernetic Arm to pay for this event, prevent all damage from that enemy's attack. This is crazy. This is like Powerful Punch and Shield Block all in one for cheaper than Powerful Punch.
I think I'm going to blow your mind here, though. I think this is B tier.
Ooh, okay. Right away, I would have. My gut was A tier, but go on.
Good, but it forces you to use the. Well, it doesn't force you, but you want to use the arm for this.
You want to use the arm.
You want to use the arm, which means you can't use it for anything else.
Which also means it does 4 damage, right?
It does 4 damage, which is crazy. It's literally Powerful Punch and Shield Block combined.
It's like an attack event. Yeah, it's really good.
It is an attack event, actually.
Yeah, true.
It's both. So it's Bucky. So obviously, if you do this on a minion, you're probably not going to. You can kill things and thwart for 2. So it has a bunch of cool stuff. It's very good.
It does.
But I think it encourages you to use the arm, which means you can't use the arm for anything else. And all of his other events also have kickers for the arm. And this is the dopest one. This is the biggest downside to not put the arm into. So if you don't play this the arm, you don't do any damage, which is then still a good event. But
no, you still deal 3 damage when an enemy attacks. If you
the arm is what makes it take no
arm
damage.
Is what takes no damage.
Then I think
extra one.
That's even worse of a downside. But like the big attack event, you just lose overkill. And I think one of his other events, like I don't know, the resource is only for attack events, but Bucky loves attack events. I think this is good, but because it taxes his cool resource generator, I think it's B. I think it's high B. I could definitely see it jumping into A later.
Okay. I will defer to you on this one again. I don't have super strong feelings. My gut says this is pretty good.
That was my gut instinct.
I will buy your argument about the arm and start it here for now. Next one, we have a fresh face. We have Armored Defense, which is a Hulkling defense and superpower traded event. Costs 1 and says Hero Interrupt. When an enemy attacks, deal damage to it equal to your defense. After this attack, give Hulkling a tough card. So it's kind of like Shy and you get a tough card. That seems cracked. It also costs 1. To me, this is like above Angel Agility. This is high A tier for me. High A tier.
I'm gonna maybe do a little bit of a sneaky move here. I think on a technicality, this gets a C because it doesn't actually defend anything for that attack you're using it on.
It is a defense event.
You defend. It is a defense traded event, but it doesn't actually defend you when you play it. It sets you up with a tough card, which is good, and then it does damage.
But after the attack.
It's kind of an attack event in disguise.
That's actually a good point. Okay.
I was looking at this one earlier, and I was thinking, that's not actually really that much of a defense event. It's good. I think if this was a card quality tier list, for sure it's up there. But I think on a technicality, it doesn't defend anything.
Yeah, I take it back. I'm going to put this actually in D tier. Defensive event that doesn't defend. Yeah, doesn't defend.
It gives you a tough card, so I feel like it can boost it to C. But I also take a D tier. It doesn't technically do anything.
See, this is why I should listen to you more often. You're the expert. Okay.
I agree.
On to the next one. We have a classic. We already talked about backflip. 0 cost defense and skill event. Interrupt when you would take any amount of damage from an attack. Prevent all of that damage. This is the granddaddy of defense events in this game. It's the OG.
It's the classic. It's not the GOAT, but it's up there.
I'm going to put this one in S tier. First of all, it costs 0, and second of all, it just prevents all damage from an attack only, not other sources of damage.
Also, this is a Spider-Man card. It's obviously like we can't take that into account. We have to take that into account for some of these. But that means that it effectively, even if we're counting with effective resources, which I've been on record saying I think is stupid, it does cost literally 0 because you draw another card whenever you get attacked. So this just means if you draw this in Spider-Man, it's even better than Shield Block because it means your hand size is staying exactly the same and you're not taking damage 100% of the time.
Yeah, I think this is... Plus the art is dope and it was the OG.
The only time this card feels bad to draw is when you can't use it.
If you're an alter ego.
Because you're an alter ego. And that's just because it's so dope you wish you could.
Okay, next up is Rogue's Defense Event. This is traded defense and superpower. Costs 1. And it says Hero Interrupt Defense. When an enemy with Touched attached to it attacks, prevent all damage from that attack and gain a tough status card. I am going to go ahead and probably blow some people's minds here. I think this is like a C tier event.
I agree.
I don't think this... It's potentially really good. It has a really high ceiling. It also has a really low floor. And it pushes you into a play line. And we're going to talk about another hero who this is very similar to in a few minutes. It pushes you to put Touched in one place, or this card is dead. Like, this is a really good card, but it's dead if you don't have Touched on the villain. I mean, I guess you could technically do it with a minion, but probably wouldn't.
Yeah.
Unless it's like
a special, like you're playing Kree Fanatic or something. But you have to touch the enemy, so it means you really have to touch the villain generally. Take no damage and then get a tough card is really good. And also, really if you're touching the villain, I believe you get Retaliate.
You do, yep.
So you're also retaliating for 1. So it's good, but I agree. Good. Forcing you to touch the villain is not what you want to be. You can move it around, but then you don't know you're going to draw it. Exactly. So if you knew you were going to draw it, you could always move the Touched around. But you kind of just have to before guess you draw. That you're hoping you can get it.
Yeah.
So it's also when it works out, but it doesn't often.
It feels bad when you move Touched and then draw it, or like put Touched there waiting for it and you don't draw it. Like, it feels bad. Okay. Up next, this is a really good one. Cross Counter. Gamora is showing up here. She has a 1 cost event, which is traded attack, defense, and thwart. The only one that has 3 traits. Hero Interrupt. When you would take any amount of damage, prevent 3 of that damage. Deal 1 damage to an enemy. Remove 1 threat from a scheme. Obviously, you have to, her hero ability magnifies those. So it's actually deal 2 damage to an enemy, or deal 1 damage and 1 damage, and then remove 1 threat and 1 threat, plus prevent 3 damage. Like, there's a lot
for 1 cost,
here.
Which he also has a resource generator for 2 of them.
Yeah, this is crazy good.
I think this is like amazing.
This is probably an S tier card, like low S tier.
I was gonna say high A. I don't think any Gamora card is like S tier. I don't think Gamora. Like, she doesn't do that, but that's not the point of Gamora. Gamora is pure tempo, and this card
triggers all of her things.
It triggers all of her things in the other phase, which is one of the only ways you can do that. It is really, really good. But is it top?
I'm gonna
look at these other ones.
low S tier. Again, it may get bumped,
I can take
It
that.
may
I
get
can take
bumped.
lowest tier.
but I'm going to put it low S tier for now. And if it moves down to high A, I think it's better than aerial agility. It's not as good as backflip. So it's in between here for me. Just don't know where.
I agree. I think it's better than aerial agility.
Okay, next up we have Energy Conversion, which is a zero-cost defense event from Bishop. Hero Interrupt. When an enemy attacks, shuffle each resource card in your discard pile into your deck. You cannot take more than 3 damage from this attack. I've been playing a lot of Bishop recently. I just published a deck called Trash Man a few weeks ago that I've been enjoying. I'm not a big Bishop fan for the record, but this to me is probably his best event. This is an incredible card for Bishop.
Yes, I agree.
Shuffling all of your stuff in is great.
Which just means you're
Especially
more
if
likely
you're
to
like-
proc his ability to get it all
Yes.
back.
Like you're low on, if your deck is low, you have a ton of stuff in your discard pile, you shuffle all those things back in.
8 or 9 cards.
This is like, my gut says high A tier. What do you think?
My always feeling is whenever I play this card, it is really good, but I feel like it kind of nombos with himself, where it shuffles them all back in and then locks the amount of damage he can take so that he can't. I think locking the amount of damage he can take is actually a nerf on this card. I think literally if this card just said shuffle all your events back in, it might be better because then you could discard and hit all of them, and then you could heal up to full with his suit.
No, because then you would say it's armored defense in disguise. It doesn't actually defend you. All it's doing is shuffling things. So then
This is
you would,
true.
on technicality, say it's a D tier card. So I'm
I'm a known Bishop hater.
I'm going to call you out here. I think that's
I am
not true.
a
I think it is
known
important
Bishop
that
hater.
it limits it to some degree. Right?
I think it is good. And limiting it to 3 damage feels, you would think it's worse than like backflip, which obviously just prevents all damage. But Bishop does want to take damage.
He does want to take damage.
He wants to take damage from attacks specifically so that he can use his abilities. So I think I would put this below aerial agility personally.
Yeah.
But I
still think it's towards the top of A tier.
I think it's top to middle of A tier.
Yeah. Okay. Next, we have Storm checking in. She has Flash Freeze, which is defense and superpower traded. It's always odd when like superpower is on defense events because you can't use Def Focus with it, so then it's really just for flavor. But anyway,
It
Hero
may matter at
Interrupt.
some point.
What's that?
It may matter at some point. Maybe it'll come up.
That's true. Flash Freeze says, Hero Interrupt. When the villain attacks you, the villain and each minion engaged with you gets -3 attack while attacking you this phase. If Blizzard is in play, resolve its special ability. Thoughts on this one? Where's your gut say?
My gut says B. This is a minion collector's dream.
Yeah, true.
Because it says
like Vision on a stick.
and it's like Vision on a stick, which is cool. But it is on a stick, which means you have to have it.
True.
Blizzard, if you already have it in play, that means everyone's at -4 attack. And also you can blank 2 people, which is pretty cool. But I feel like you're not often in Blizzard.
Blizzard does
not the other
-1
world.
attack. Yep.
And worst case scenario, you don't have a minion, which is not uncommon. It's just -3
uncommon.
attack, which is just subdue. It's good, but not a lot of people play subdue.
It's better than Subdue because Subdue crazily isn't defense traded. I think if Subdue
Yes.
had the defense trait, it would get a lot more play.
For sure. I'd play it in Drax probably.
I would even put Flash Freeze like high C tier. I just don't think it's great. Like
The upside of this is insane where like you get 10 minions in front of you and then none of them attack you and then they're all blanked and whatever. But I think in actuality it's a lot like Bulletproof Bell where
Exactly.
it's fine. It's good.
It feels really like Bulletproof Belt. I mean, it has a high variance, right? The delta
also,
between
Storm
how good
has
it
a
is,
free ready and I believe 3 defense. So like it doesn't feel like you need it that much.
and you can give them all -1 attack anyway with Blizzard.
Which they
so,
already would have. So you're kind of doubling down. I don't know.
I think
I think it's
I'm gonna
better
put
than
it down
Bulletproof
there.
Bell.
You would?
I think so. Bulletproof Bell, literally, if you didn't touch the villain this turn, it does nothing. It's a blank
That's
card.
true. That's true. Okay. I'll agree with that. Okay, next up, Grasping Tendrils. One of the more expensive ones. This is Venom. It's a defense event, cost 2. Hero Interrupt. When the villain initiates an attack against you, cancel that attack. If you paid for this card using only physical resources, stun the villain.
I think this card is very good.
Canceling an activation is super strong.
Canceling activation is better than defending. It
Yeah,
also can
just-
defend for anybody. Is it defense traded?
It is defense traded.
It can trigger stuff like that, full
Mhm.
like water and stuff. 2 physical resources.
Also counts
you
as
would
defending
think,
for unflappable. Go
yes,
ahead.
counts as defending. You would think, oh, that doesn't seem very good, but you have a free wild resource in Venom, so you really just need a physical resource.
Yeah,
Which,
it's not that
if you
hard.
can, not that hard. It is a helpful physical resource. So if you draw both of these, they're not dead cards because they can pay for themselves to hit the proc. So
In solo, this just stops 2 activations.
yes,
That's
in
crazy.
solo, in 2-player, this card says the villain doesn't get a turn. In
Just
single
not
player,
doing
this
anything
says
this
the
turn.
villain doesn't get 2 turns, and it gets worse as you go up.
Wild.
But this card's amazing.
This
It's
card's
one of the
absolutely
best
insane.
cards on this list, I would think.
I think this is an S tier card, and it sounds like you agree.
It also, does it let him trigger Spider Sense because the villain does attack him, or they
It
don't?
does.
It
Yeah.
does, or it cancels it because they
'Cause
do
it's-
start
they
the
do
activation
initiate,
and then
it's when
cancels
that
it. It
starts.
doesn't stop. Oh my god! Yeah,
Correct.
this card's amazing. Which means, for those who don't know, Venom has the same ability as Spider-Man, where he draws a card whenever he's attacked. So if you're using this on yourself, you get attacked, stop the attack, stun them, so then the next person doesn't get attacked. You draw a card, and then you also trigger any defense upgrades you have that care about that. Crazy.
Okay, is it crazy to put it where I just put it?
I don't think so.
Okay, I think this is one of the best ones on the list.
I might put it under backflip because Spider-Man has the draw built in, so it's literally free. It costs
Okay.
you actually nothing to play backflip. It might be the go.
Okay, it might be. We're gonna see. Okay, so that's 2, 4, 6, 8, 9, 10. All right, one more, and we are at the halfway stage here. The next one is Magic Barrier. Magic is checking in here. She has a defense and spell traded event. 1 cost. Hero Interrupt. When an enemy initiates an attack, prevent 3 damage from this attack. If the top card of your deck has an energy or wild resource icon, deal 3 damage to the attacking enemy. So this is essentially, right, 1 cost for prevent 3 damage. And then,
Which is good.
depending on what the top of your deck is, you might get something else.
Does Magic have
My
to take that damage?
Gut. Yeah, when an enemy initiates an attack, so it could be anybody, prevent 3 damage, which makes it a little bit better. It's kind of like Scarlet
But
Witch's
it's
Magic
also
Barrier, but it's an
on
event.
initiate attack, not on take damage.
Correct.
So if you get unlucky and those boost cards don't do anything, you could feel like you're wasting it.
Or if you don't have the right resource on top of your deck,
Yes,
you
which
just only
I haven't
prevent
played
3
Magic
damage.
a ton, but if I remember correctly, that is the hardest time to get it set up because you have the ability to switch it on your turn. So right after you draw up is when you would be able to use this, which is the hardest time to trigger that.
I'm gonna put this
You
like,
have
right
I guess
here
you have
for
like
now.
stepping disc and stuff. You can stack your deck, but I think it's fine. Yeah, I think
What do you think?
I think
about
honestly it could be C tier. Maybe we need to be a little harsher because these are generally pretty good cards.
this? Yeah,
I think
it
that's
could
not
be.
great. 'Cause if it
I
said
think
when you
it's-
take
yeah.
damage, I might.
I'm gonna
But
drop
I think
it
it's better
down.
than Flash Freeze, but
Yeah, I do too. I don't really like Flash Freeze very much. Okay, so we're halfway through. Let's pause. How do you feel about this? Anything you need to adjust as we go here?
I feel like it's right. I think it looks kind of top heavy, but I don't think there's gonna be that many more additions to the S tier. I think that's
I
a
also
pretty.
low key think Crosscutter might be Gamora's best card.
I
that
think
crazy?
almost certainly. It's
Yeah,
either her resource
it's
generator
really good.
or it's cross counter. Cross counter, it's
So good.
it's the one card I think in the game that procs both of her abilities in the other one. If you
Yes.
could play cross counter every turn, Gamora would be probably twice as good. If you could just do this over and over again, she'd be insane.
Imagine throwing like electromagnetic armor, playing her protection, and like
Yeah.
add in.
And you're playing Gamora, so you can still play events from
flow like
other
water.
aspects.
Just
So you
ping,
can play
ping, ping.
flow like
So
water
good.
and defense, and then so you're potentially with all your upgrades, you could play this thwart for 5 with your hard to ignores,
Wild.
and then defend or deal 4 damage, thwart for 5, block 3 damage, draw a card. Like it's just so.
Yeah, I've had games with Gamora where I'll play cross counter and to defend, and then I'll also drop in counter punch and true grit like all at once. Just do a ton of thwarting, damage, defending
Do a
all
bunch
at
of
once.
random crazy
So
stuff.
fun.
It's dope.
Okay, so I think we're there. I still might drop cross counter, but for now I'm gonna leave it.
I think cross counter is the only one. It is good, but it doesn't not quite. I mean, with backflip and grasping tendrils, it feels a little bit in weird company, but
I might I might just go ahead because I just think it's not.
I think
in
it will
same
be the
class.
top of A for the rest of this list, though. I think it's
Okay, let's go to the next
Florida.
one close to my heart. Vision checking in with mass increase, which I have been on the record saying I think is his worst card or one of them. Maybe it's not. Maybe his cape is worse. Anyway, it's defense and superpower traded, 1 cost. Play only if Vision is in dense mass form. Hero interrupt. When Vision defends, prevent all damage from that attack. Stun the attacking enemy after the attack resolves. So this essentially means you have to
First
most
look,
likely basic defend.
it looks like Grasping Tendrils, you would think, right? It's 1 cost, it blocks all damage, and then it also does the thing. But Grasping Tendrils does not require you to be in a certain form. And also, Vision, you only get to flip on your turn, which means you have to basically bank on
Low key,
being in dense.
this is just Bulletproof Bell.
It's just Bulletproof Bell. It's
Yeah.
a little bit more reliable because I think you're touching the villain less than you are flipping. From what I see of most Vision games, you're flipping every turn. So basically 50-50 you can play this card. But also then, on those turns that you're in dense, are you being attacked? And you do still have to exhaust. Bulletproof Bell doesn't even make you exhaust. I think it's worse than Bulletproof Bell.
Worse than Bulletproof Bell. You think it's
You
down
have to
here?
exhaust still. You don't, like Bulletproof Bell, you at least don't have to exhaust.
You do. Boy. A Bulletproof Bell, they both have a trigger, right? You have to be in the right form or bit.
Also
I
think
think
a
they're-
tough card is more valuable than a stun, as steady becomes more valuable. If you're just
maybe
happen to be
that's
playing into a
true.
steadier stalwart villain, it just actually is just a worse backflip.
But this, yeah, and it has to. Okay, I'll leave it there. I'm not crazy about this card. It works with the Vision. I played a lot of Vision. It works because I can use Jocasta to grab it,
To
and
lock
Jocasta
it in.
can be grabbed with 616. So there's like a chain I can get, and then I have it there for when I flip to dense. Then
That's
I can be ready.
kind of a lot of setup,
It's a lot
and
of
only
setup.
in protection, and also it's
Only
a one of,
protection.
if I'm not wrong,
It is a one of. He's one.
which
copy
is
of it.
like, I guess he's not like a defense-oriented hero, but
He's not.
I don't know.
He
That
can do
feels kind of
everything.
bad. Yes.
Yeah.
That feels kind of bad.
Okay, next up we have a really fun one. Natural Agility. Gambit's defense event. 0 costs. Defense and superpower traded. Hero interrupt. When you defend against an attack, place a charge counter on Gambit. For each charge counter on Gambit, you get +1 defense for that attack. So he has 2 copies of this. It's a 0 cost defense event. I think this one is really, really strong.
I
It
think it's very
powers up his counters, which is really nice. And then you generally are defending for a lot because he uses a lot of counters.
Gambit also has a built-in ready if he takes no damage.
He does, and he can ping back with the stick. I do think this is kind of like backflip. It's not quite as good because there's other stuff, but it gets
it
you a
does set
counter
up
which can be
the-
used for more things.
It could
I think
set
it's
up a
really,
counter.
really
It
good.
also sets up the Shy deck, which we talked about earlier, where you can do
Yes.
like a bunch of damage. I think this is high A. I think it's good. I
'Cause you
think
can
it's
have
worse than
defense
cross
up to
counter.
1,000,000. It's
Yeah, I
unlimited.
think it's worse than cross counter, but it is cool. If we discount the ability to just like, yes, this has no limit, so you can just go to 1,000,000,000 and defend for 85. I think even in like a standard Gambit game where you're spending your counters and stuff, you can just play this, and usually it's pumping you by 3 or 4, and defending for 7 to 10 probably is fine, and that's great. And you're gonna not take damage, ready yourself, get another charge counter, which you already wanted, which you need for his whole stuff. I think it's good.
Yeah, I'm a little like surprised how defense oriented Gambit was. Like if you had asked
Yeah.
me before Gambit was released, like what I think he'd focus on, it wouldn't have been defense. But
He's got
I
3
don't know that
defense.
much
He's
about
got a
the card.
free ready.
Yeah,
His stick is
great
cool.
defense event. Stick
It's
is cool.
definitely interesting.
Here's one close to your heart. Parry. Drax's
goat.
0 cost defense event. Hero interrupt. When you would take any amount of damage, prevent X of that damage, where X is equal to double your attack. Insane. How
Insane.
good is this card?
This card is technically worse than shield block and backflip, right? Because it does have a requirement. You have to have your attack. If you're playing Drax, your attack is usually at least 4. He can get to 4 minimum, or he can get to 5 with his basic kit.
Pretty
So
easily.
you're probably at
this is
4 to
10.
5. So this is blocking 10 damage. There are almost no cases where you're getting attacked for more than 10 damage.
Yeah, it's rare.
That doesn't really
That's
happen.
crazy.
And if you're playing Drax in one of the ways that supports him the most, which is you have like a symbiote suit or you're playing an aggression to have him even more attacks, you're blocking 12 to 16 damage. Nothing attacks for 16. That's not real. So it is basically a shield block. You also do draw a card often because Drax also has a similar
So
thing to
it's kinda like
Spider-Man.
backflip.
Kind of like backflip. But I will say I would put it low A or high B because it does have that thing. Sometimes you do flip over and you just had to flip down. You lose all your counters and you're like, oh, okay, so parry blocks 2 damage. And Drax's counters do come on after the attack, so you don't get to boost. It does have the lowest. You could just block 2 damage with it, and that sucks. But I will say it is, I think, more fun than shield block because it's built on the thing your hero already does, and it feels like it's rewarding you for being Drax.
Yeah, I think it's good right here. I might even make this change. How do you feel about dropping this down?
I don't hate that. I think that feels good. In terms of defense cards, it's not the best on this list by any means, but I think parry is one of Drax's better cards.
That's really good.
I think it's obviously not his best card. That's Tweet Thief Mastery. We know this.
We already know that. We have another one here, Psionic Redirect from Psylocke, the only other 2-cost one. It says, Hero Interrupt, when you would take any amount of damage from an enemy attack, prevent 2 of that damage. For each Psy Katana you control, prevent 2 additional damage. For each Psy Knife you control, confuse that enemy. This is my problem with Psylocke. And I know there are some Psylocke lovers out there. I played her like a handful of times, but it always feels like I'm pulling so many levers and doing so many things. Like, she kind of just hurts my brain, and I never feel like I'm doing enough of everything to warrant like the total brain burnout. But how do you feel about this event?
I agree. Every time I read a Psylocke card, I'm like, wow, this card has a full text box. There are so many words on this card, and it does it's like kind of cool. So like it's
kind of cool.
If you block the most damage you can with it, it blocks like 6 damage for 2 cost.
Yeah, that's good.
You're probably more likely going to block 4 damage and confuse, which is good. But it's not like great. We just talked about parry, which is 0 for blocking up to 16 damage, or like backflip. I think this is C tier.
Yeah, I think you could put it great.
I think you could put it in D tier. Because if you get unlucky and you have your 2, whatever the one that confuses out, double confuse often doesn't matter. Sometimes it does with steady.
So in that case, it could be really cool if a person's steady, then you can actually confuse them. But
then you're only blocking 2 damage. So you're playing 2 costs to block 2 damage?
You want to put it down here?
I think it could be high D or C. I'll let you make the final call on that. But I don't.
I'm going to upset the people and put it down here.
Shout out to all you Psylocke lovers. That ain't for me.
It costs too much. Shout out Skilly. Sorry. I know you love her, but this defense event feels not a referendum on Psylocke, but just like as defense events go, I think this is just kind of
in terms of defense events, I don't think it's great.
Boy, if you don't like defense events, we have now Pulsar Shield. 1 cost defense and superpower traded from Spectrum. Hero Interrupt. When Spectrum defends, change to Pulsar Energy form and Ready Spectrum. If you were already in Pulsar Energy form, she gains Retaliate 1 until the end of the phase. This is a dud, and I might just drop this into D tier.
I think this might also get the same technicality as Hulkling, where it doesn't actually defend, although it does change it to Pulsar form, which gives you +2 defense.
You are defending, so you have to defend, and
you have to defend, so you're exhausted.
Or 3 defend, and then it readies you.
Yeah, what this does is you either deal 1 damage and defend for 3, or it readies you. So if you're already
you anyway.
It readies you anyway.
It readies you no matter what. If you were already there, you get Retaliate. I think this is a dud.
D. I think as far as these go, it's not anywhere near the top.
I would put it here. I think it's worse than this. An armor defense on a technicality we put in the very bottom. I don't think anything can go lower. I think
it can't get worse because it's
not defending.
It doesn't defend.
The only alternative is just like you're just taking the attack to the face.
Yes, that is the bottom of D tier, is just eating it to the face.
I mean, armor defense is kind of just like Shake It Off combined with Shy. None of those are defense. Okay.
Those are both good cards.
They're both good cards, but they're not defending. So on technicality, I agree with you. All right, now we have I don't want to spoil it. Okay, Quick Shift. 0 cost defense and superpower. Hero Interrupt. When an enemy attacks, if you are in solid mass form, change to phased mass form. If you are in phased mass form, draw 2 cards. I'm going to let you talk about this one because you love Shadowcat. So
I do love Shadowcat a lot. I am going to spoil it. I think this is the GOAT. I think this is the greatest defense event ever made. I think it's easily the best. Because, Quick Shift Shadowcat, for those who don't have her or don't know, whenever you have two mass forms, you have phased and you have solid. In solid mass form, it's a resource generator for attacks and defenses. And then every time you do one of those two things, you may flip. And phased is every time you are defending, you cannot take damage. And then you must flip every time you do either attack or defend. So what this card does is either you're in solid form and you play this card and it flips you to phased and you take no damage, guaranteed, and then it flips you back. Or you're in phased form and you play this card, it has the defense trait on it, so it lets you defend for yourself without exhausting. You flip to solid and you draw 2 cards, which is just better than backflip. Shadowcat is all about bouncing between that phased and solid form. It's all about managing that. Because what you can do with this is you can play this phased. After the attack, it'll flip you to solid, and then you can play counterpunch, and that'll flip you back to phased, and then you can do it again. It's not that hard to be in phased when you need it to, and worst case scenario, it's backflip, which is already the best card on this list up to this point. I think it's without a doubt the best.
You know, a lot of people compare Shadowcat to Vision.
Yes.
Because they're phase forms or whatever.
And they have that same
and I can
discarding
see that.
hero things.
To me, Shadowcat is to Vision what Ant-Man is to Wasp. To me, Ant-Man is the guy who flips all the time. He wants to play any card that'll let him flip and do all the actions between flipping. And that feels like Shadowcat. She wants to flip back and forth and be in the right form. Vision, like Wasp, wants to be in a form and do the thing. So I think Vision is most effective not bouncing between, but picking one and then flipping to the other one for a specific purpose before flipping back, almost. Like,
not necessarily
he wants to be
sticking to one the whole game.
Flipping to dense to do the thing, or he wants to be in dense and build around that and flip to intangible when he needs to. So that's how I see them.
I agree. I think that's a great comparison. I love Shadowcat. Shadowcat's one of the most fun heroes in the game, in my opinion, because it changes the game of the defend for everyone deck, which I have been on record saying I love. I think it's super fun, but it changes the whole game of that from how do I defend for enough to I just have to get the keyword out there. Somehow we just have to put the keyword defense on this activation and then nobody's taking damage. It also prevents, because it just says while you're defending, if you play a defense card and there's a boost card that does damage, that also does nothing. It's super fun. I think Quick Shift is amazing. It's why she's so good.
I think a Quick Shift is up there for good
reason. I wish
it
was a 3 of.
I also think, between Ant-Man and Wasp, you really like Ant-Man, and I think I prefer Wasp.
For sure.
This is interesting. I think that's a good comparison to the way I think about them. But yeah, a lot of people say, like, well, Shadowcat. Like, why would you play Vision? Shadowcat exists. But, like, they are very different.
I think it's apples to oranges there. You have a phased and solid form, but Vision's is very different. It's kind of where it ends. And they have the thing that lets you discard the hero upgrade, because that's like the flavor of phasing through somebody. But yeah, I think I've never thought them to be very similar.
Vision did it first. Okay.
Vision did it first. Shadowcat did it better.
Let's go to the next one on the list, which is today's card, Shield Block. So we didn't want to spoil it earlier. I'm going to jump in, and I'm just going to put Shield Block straight into S tier. I think Shield Block is maybe... Oh, boy. It is not... I struggle. Think it is... This is where I might need to reorder things, because I think it is better than Backflip, but I think it is less good than Grasping Tendrils. So I almost want to do this.
I think it is strictly not as good as Backflip.
See, the thing about Backflip is it has to be an attack.
Yes.
Shield Block can just stop any amount of damage. Like I said, whether you're in hero form or not, what's his name's Ebony Maw's things go off, you just prevent 4 damage, just straight up.
Yes.
Backflip can't. You're still going to take that damage. So that is the distinction that I see. No, don't use it in Alter Ego very often, although you could if Juggernaut attacks you or something.
That's the
but
big
it's
distinction,
more like
is the indirect damage thing.
Indirect damage. I just take, it says like take 3 indirect damage. I just put 3 and just use Shield Block.
Few things do more. I don't think anything does more than 4, and Ebony Maw is like a specific thing. Also, Ebony Maw doesn't surprise you. You know when it's going to happen. So you can plan around that. So I don't maybe need that as much. Backflip, replaces itself, which is huge.
No, we have to be careful here because backflip strictly doesn't replace itself. That is a hero ability,
but
right?
it is a Spider-Man card, so
but
you can never play
backflip
shield
without
block
has retaliate.
Yeah,
because of Cap's shield.
I think that's fair. I think we could. I still think backflip is better. I think backflip because also you can backflip twice.
So you would put backflip here?
I was going to put shield block top of A. I wasn't even going to put it in S tier.
My, okay.
I was going to put it above, somewhere on either side of cross counter. And I wasn't going to backflip, the OG, grasping tendrils, and quick shift feels, I think it's fine to have shield block in there. I don't think that feels out of place. But I think it's definitely not, of those four, it's number 4. I think the distinction of indirect damage, I've never seen that come up. I think that almost never matters.
Okay. I'll put it here and I'm just going to try it on. I'm going to wear it around the store and see how it feels and see where we end up. Let's go to the next one, which is Shield Maiden, which is a 1-cost defense event from Valkyrie. Hero interrupt: when the enemy with Death Glow attached attacks, declare Valkyrie the defender without exhausting her. She gets +2 defense for this attack. This is just Bulletproof Bell, but not as good.
It's Bulletproof Bell, but not as good for sure. This is the card I built that whole deck around. It boosts your defense by 2. It lets you not exhaust. So really, you want to be putting this on the villain, which means you're defending for minimum 5 with your spear. With just Valkyrie's kit, you can defend for 5, which is pretty good. That's going to get you there most of the time. And so this was where I was building around Shy and all that stuff. It's not that good because Deathglow specifically does not want to be on the villain. And this card wants you to play it on the villain because it doesn't feel like, yeah, if you have like a villainous minion, which there are some of, if you get like, I don't know, Nimrod or the Doctor Doom from the Con of Heroes or Creepy or some of those, there's a couple. But I don't think it's very good. I think it's very limited. It kind of nombos with itself.
Did you
I think
put it
low
here?
C. Yes, I think low C. It does. If you need it to, it will defend. It will do what you need it to.
I think it is worse.
Worst
than
case scenario,
mass
it's a free
increase.
defense. I think it's definitely worse than mass increase. Yeah.
Okay.
Because mass increase doesn't specifically want you to not be in dense form. It wants you to not be putting it on the things that this matters on.
Yeah. Okay. We're down to the last 3. So we have Tally Ho from Nightcrawler, a 1-cost defense superpower event. Hero response: after Bamf makes Nightcrawler the defender of an attack, return that copy of Bamf to your hand, deal 3 damage to the attacking enemy. So we're going to not get this one on a technicality. This doesn't technically defend you, but Bamf does.
It returns Bamf to your hand, which I think counts.
And it's using Bamf. So I think it still counts. It's not going to get ruled out like armor defense.
Is that biased? Maybe,
but I think it counts here because you are defending. Like Bamf is defending you, and then you're putting Bamf in your hand and dealing 3 damage. I think this is solid. I think I put this this is like a B tier to me, like mid B tier. I think it's decent. It gets you Bamf back.
Is it better than arm block?
Yes, because it puts a card in your hand. I think,
guess,
and specifically Bamf. So like you want to be using Bamf to defend,
but you can
then sometimes
still take
you want
damage
Bamf on an enemy. You can still take damage, but he has 3 defense. I think he has 4 once he gets his upgrade out.
4 once he gets his upgrade. And he also has retaliate often built in
from his upgrade. So then you're like dealing 4 damage back.
You've played more Nightcrawler than me. Is having a Bamf in your hand like super key? Remember when I played him, it was definitely very nice, but I don't think I was playing this card a lot.
It's nice. And I do think it just smooths the economy out a little bit, right? Like you want to be playing Bamf a lot and you can spend a resource to get Bamf, but this does that for you. I think it's like right in here for me.
I was going to say either side of arm block is what I was going to say. I don't think it's better than parry because parry
I would maybe put it below. I think arm block just deals more damage back and can prevent all damage. So I think I think arm block for me
came out like 4 cycles later or whatever. I think that's one of the big things about it. It's just it's
all right.
A little bit power cut.
Now we have one that we may get on a technicality. Up, and away. an 0-cost aerial defense event. Hero response: after an attacking enemy is given a face-down boost card, look at that card and the top card of the encounter deck. You may swap those cards. Draw 1 card for each printed icon, stars and boost icons, in the current boost cards boost area. So you're going to potentially swap the 2 cards, and then whatever the new boost card is, whether you kept it or swapped it, you're going to count the icons on that card. This doesn't technically defend anything.
I think it could definitely get the whistle blown here for a DQ'd. Yeah. I think it definitely could. But I think even if we give it the grace of allowing it to be a defense card, I think it's still at the bottom of this list.
Oof.
I don't think this card is good at all.
It can draw you some cards, which is important.
Draw you some
and you
cards.
Can line it up, right? Like he's manipulating the top of the encounter deck.
It does the encounter deck.
Really good.
But here's the thing.
It can feel bad to like draw 3 cards and then still take a ton of damage to the face.
So this card, what this card does as a defense card, we're rating defense cards, we're rating on the quality of a defense card. I think it's above. If it gets DQ'd, it's below. I think if it's not, it's above. But I think because you either, say it's attacking you, and say you have a 1 or a 3 and a 0 on top of your deck, just for the example. The 3 is your boost card. Then the 0 is on top. So you play this, you look at the top, you then look at the 3. Then you can either swap them to take 3 less damage, or you can keep them to draw 3 cards. That's kind of cool. So you play this, you draw 3 cards, and then now you're defending, which matters sometimes for protection. But you're not blocking any damage. So you're just, if the villain has an average attack of 2, you're just eating 5 damage. And he only has like 3 defense. So you're going to take it, like that's fine, but he doesn't really get a ton of benefit for proccing a defense like Shadowcat would. And if he's playing protection, like sure, he's got some things. Or you play this card and you swap a 3 boost, swap a 3 boost with a 0 boost, and then now you've just given a 3 boost to the next person. You just kick that can down the road, and then you take 2 damage or whatever, and you still have to exhaust yourself to defend because it didn't actually block any damage.
Or I am going to go ahead and say this is DQ'd. This disqualified.
I think it's DQ'd, but I think it's even bad if it is because I'm a Falcon hater. I think even if you pull this, and worst case scenario, it's two boost cards. This card just draws you 2 cards, and you have there's no choice about it. You don't get to do anything. Or if you get 2 zeros, then you literally do nothing.
You spent a card from hand to do it.
Yeah, like
I think
it's just not that.
If there was a 0-cost card that said take 3 damage, draw 3 cards, you would put it in every single deck you could.
100%.
But for some reason, this card always leads to a feel bad. Like, I don't know. I've played Falcon a fair bit, and I always get it. And I'm always excited when I see 3 icons because I'm like, heck yeah, I'm going to draw 3 cards.
Cool, I got my
3 cards on my hand.
Yeah.
But then, like you said, I'm just eating like 4, 5, 6 damage to the face. Yeah. Like,
so if you're in protection,
he only has like 9 health, 10 health. Like, that's not great.
If you're in protection, you can throw like a what's the one that cancels
energy
boost
barrier
icons?
Maybe, or force field generator,
boost icons. The event
Defiance,
or the one
North
with
Star.
The event 1-cost event cancels boost icons.
Preemptive strike.
That one. So if you happen to have a preemptive strike in hand or draw a preemptive strike off it, because it does trigger when boosts are given, that's cool. You also know what the boost is going to be. So, or I guess if you're in solo, you know what the boost is going to be. But if you're going second, you have no idea. So you're just guessing.
For some reason, it always feels bad when I play this.
It always feels bad, and
it's a feel bad.
Regardless, it's a DQ. It doesn't block any damage.
It doesn't actually defend.
It just has the defense trait. It's in the same thing as Hulkling. Banned.
And I think of the 2 disqualified cards, this is worse by
for sure. I would
some
take Hulkling's
degree.
Card. Yes.
So yeah, okay. We're on to the final one, which, inside joke, holds a special place in our heart.
It does.
We are on to Wiggle Room, the 0-cost defense event from Miss Marvel. Is defense and superpower traded. Hero interrupt: when you would take any amount of damage, prevent 3 of that damage, draw 1 card. So obviously this can interact with her ability, where you can exhaust her to bounce it back to your hand and play it again in the same window. So it could potentially draw you 2 cards
and block 6
for the cost of 1 card and block 6 damage. That's really good.
And an exhaust. You do have to exhaust.
And an exhaust.
Which means you can't use your ability in the hero phase.
Correct. So to me, I think this is a low A tier card is my gut.
I agree. This card is good. If this card blocked more than 3 damage, it would be way above here. If it was like a backflip with a card draw stapled onto it, this would be the best card ever. But also, you can either play it twice, or, because it's when you take damage, so you can decide. If you're taking like 4 damage, you can just put it back in your hand, and as much as it sucks, you can just hold it for the next turn. You can, with Miss Marvel's basic kit, 0 setup, you can play Wiggle Room every single turn for the rest of the game, and you will take -3 damage, -3 damage for nothing for the rest of the game.
Effectively, a smaller hand size.
No, because it draws you a card. So you just hold this in your hand,
back.
and so you'll get through your deck slower technically, but your hand size is equivalent. You'll just take 3 less damage every single turn, which is pretty good.
I guess as it goes here or here.
I think it's low A. I don't think it's better than any of those A tier cards, but I think it's up there. I think
better than energy conversion.
I think so. Yeah, because it does block damage.
So we said roughly a bell curve, or I said roughly a bell curve. We have roughly a bell curve here.
Roughly, I think so.
Are you happy? Do you see anything here that makes you want to adjust things?
The only one that I'm looking at is I feel like maybe Flash Freeze goes up 1. I don't love Flash Freeze.
A little bit bigger,
but
here.
I think it is. I think it's pretty good.
Move it up here?
Yeah. And I don't know if it's just my Drax talking, but I don't love energy conversion over parry.
I think
I haven't played a lot of Bishop. I've played him like once or twice.
To me, I'd put energy conversion above parry because I think energy conversion is pretty core to what Bishop is trying to do. Whereas parry, honestly, like Drax could just pitch it to spend out something else most of the time. Whereas energy conversion, I sometimes want to hold it because like recycling those energy resources is really important to him.
I think parry is a great Drax card, and I think it is kind of core to who Drax is, which is just taking damage and defending. But I think Drax would almost never hold a parry, and I think energy conversion gets held a lot more. And a card that gets held because you want to and not because you have to, I think is better.
Yeah.
So I think I will, or it's more core to what Bishop does. It's more necessary.
Yeah.
Which I think
I think energy conversion is one of his better cards, actually.
Yes. I think parry is one of Drax's better cards, but I don't think I'm ever holding a parry unless I'm very low. If I'm low and we're about to thread out, so I'm like, okay, I just need to survive this turn, I'll hold a parry. But otherwise, I'm just pitching it for something because I need to be putting pressure.
Yeah.
So I think I don't hate it.
I think
I guess final question is shield block. Are we okay with top of A for shield block? I feel like that's kind of Cap's sweet spot. I feel like Cap and Gamora are both, neither of them are exceptional heroes, but they're both very good. And I think that's where that is.
I am a Cap stan, as you know.
I know.
I love Cap the character. I love Cap the hero in the game. It maybe hurts me, but I do think it's probably the right place for him. The one that's jumping out to me that I almost want to switch Wiggle Room and energy conversion.
Interesting.
Because again, I just think Wiggle Room isn't core to what Miss Marvel wants to do, which is boosting attack and thwart events. And this isn't that. It helps her with her defense a little bit.
Yeah, she has no other way to synergize with defense events. But she does have 1 defense and 9 or 10 hit points.
Yeah.
Or she might have 11.
I think nowadays maybe she might have something like Arm Block, which would synergize with her kit a little bit better.
Yes.
I don't know.
But I think it's a good Miss Marvel. I don't hate that. I would
push for it, but that's the only thing that sees to me that I would switch.
I could go for that. I could switch Wiggle Room energy conversion. I think that's not the end of the world.
Just drop this down and bring it, or put them both here even.
That's honest. I think that's better.
No, bring energy conversion.
I think energy conversion is good. It's not great
better to me.
Especially if we're rating on ranks of card quality, this is a whole different list. But in terms of defense cards you want to play to defend, I think energy conversion is good, but it doesn't do. It almost skirts by on that technicality. It does block damage, but there are some times you play it down, or is it when you take damage, or is it when an enemy attacks?
Which one? Energy conversion?
Energy conversion, yeah.
It's when an enemy attacks. So when he attacks, then you shuffle your cards in.
Even in the few times I played Bishop, you play it, and sometimes you get attacked for 2. And it's just I did get to shuffle all my cards in, so that's cool. But then I discard 2 cards, and I don't maybe get a resource, and then it just feels kind of wasted. If you are playing Ronin, and you're yeah, I'm just going to cap him at 3, I discard, I draw 3 resources, it feels awesome. You're on top of the world. But It has some feel bad moments, and I think if it has notable feel bad moments, I think it kind of has to be in B tier. Everything above that, you could play that anytime. The only feel bad moment for shield block is like this magical Christmas land where you draw both and then also get attacked twice in the same phase. That almost never happens.
Yeah.
Where like cross counter's good every time, agility's good every time, aerial agility's good every time, and then backflip, quick strike, and gathering tendrils, or you'll probably hold those. Those are the best cards in that hand.
Yeah, those are just so good.
I'll hold a quick shift every single time I draw it.
I am happy with this list.
I am too.
I'm curious what the viewers and the listeners think. How would you rank the defense events in hero kits? Did we get it right? Did we get it wrong? What would you move up or down? I'm curious to hear what you would say.
With quick shift as the GOAT, as the greatest to ever do it.
Is that the best one? Did we get it right on our disqualifications? Armor, defense, and up and away. Sorry, guys, but you are, in my mind, that's a red card.
Technically, defense events, but I think
out.
Bad conduct, not actually blocking any damage.
No, not actually defending. So
not actually defending.
Only defense on a technicality. You're out.
If you play up and away and don't switch the cards, this card has done 0 things except maybe draw you a couple cards.
It made you take more damage to get it to work.
Often takes more damage, which feels bad.
Not to the defense event.
And then armor defense, it doesn't block damage. It just doesn't. I mean, it does later.
It does not.
But it gives you tough cards.
That's not what we're doing here.
It's not the same thing.
And so to be clear, I'm going to stop sharing now. We did draw the line of defense events when we initially talked about this because every hero you could get into like other cards that are defense-like.
Like Magic
Shield. And we got into for Scarlet Witch. Magic Shield. Or then we Draw Their Fire for Falcon. Or Bamf for cat-like reflexes.
Yeah, Bamf was the one I was pushing for. I thought Bamf would be cool to put on this list because it isn't a defense event, but it's kind of Nightcrawler's thematic defense
Initially,
thing.
I thought, yes.
But then we get into the weeds of where does, like, eidetic memory go or things like that, where her, like, +2 defense. Where does Groot's, like, Groot wall go?
Yeah,
where it kind of like, gets into some weeds of what all that is and I think that got a little too complicated. We already had
drew the line of
defense
events.
So we drew the defense events.
And we had 21. I think it turned out pretty well. This is a bit of a longer episode. Apologies, but I hope you enjoyed it. Please let me know. I'm really curious to hear what you guys think. What's the best one? What's the ones that are towards the bottom? Did we get it right? Did we get it wrong? Call us out.
Did Drax get snubbed?
Did Cap get snubbed? Did he
I
get
don't
robbed?
think Cap got snubbed. I think
Cap
Drax
got robbed.
I think Drax did not get snubbed, but I'm still mad about it.
I appreciate that. All right. Well, that is it for today. Thanks, LazyTitan, for doing something a little bit differently. If people like this, let us know. We could do something like this again.
I'd be happy to do this in the future for something like that. I think it's fun.
Yeah. I'd be happy to do some rankings. It's fun to talk about it, right?
For sure. I think if we did like attack events, though, we'd have a lot more cards. That might have to be a dedicated episode. Because
we would have to see
most
how
heroes
many
have,
there would be.
Every hero has 1, and most of them have 2. Whereas like defense events, not everybody has.
There was 21 defense events. I just looked it up quickly on Marvel CDB. There are 79 attack events. That would be an entire episode.
Because Bucky has like 3, Gamora has 3 or 4, Cap has 2.
Maybe.
Like it already. I don't know if the people want it. We are beholden to the will of the people.
Maybe it wouldn't even be a podcast episode. Maybe it'd be its own standalone thing. We could go through things and rank if you go into that.
If you want us to go through and rank every card of Marvel Champions through some kind of designated order, hey, who are we to say no?
I'm happy to do an entire episode ranking all the cards that are named I Am Groot.
We could do that.
We'll go through all of them.
And that is not just one card.
That's not just one card. All right, well, LazyTitan, thanks for doing it with me. Thanks for hanging out. Thanks for ranking stuff. And I look forward to seeing you in the next episode, sir.
Of course.
Bye,
Later.
everyone.